In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about simple interest. When we go to a bank and take out a loan or make a deposit and invest money, the amount that we have to pay back, or the amount that the bank pays us at the conclusion of the investment, is always a little bit more than what we started with. And we can write this by saying A, for the amount that we get back, is equal to P, the principal, that's the amount that we started with, plus I, the interest. The difference between what we get back, or what we have to pay back, and the amount that we started with, we call the interest. There's a number of different ways to calculate the interest, and in this video we're focusing on simple interest. For simple interest, we're going to use the values of the principal. That's the amount we started with. So the starting amount. The number of years, or the term of the loan. The interest rate, and we're going to express the interest rate as a decimal. And of course, uppercase I, the interest that's paid, either by the bank or by the customer. Using these values, we can express what's called the simple interest formula. That is, the interest is equal to the principal times the interest rate as a decimal times the term of the loan. Before we go on, it's important to note that the term of the loan must always be expressed in years. Even if we've got a term which is not a whole number of years. For example, if we've got 6 months, then to write 6 months in years, we would say that that's 6 over 12 years. Of course, 6 over 12, the fraction, can be simplified to a half. We could also say 16 weeks in terms of years by doing exactly the same thing. We write the number of weeks on the numerator of the fraction, and the denominator will be the number of weeks in a year. So 16 weeks is equivalent to the fraction 16 over 52 in years. We can do the same thing with days. Say, for example, we had a loan for 23 days. We can express 23 days in years by writing 23, the number of days, over the number of days in a year. So it's important to note when we're using our simple interest formula that the term of the loan or the investment, the N value, must always be expressed in years, whether the question gives it to us in months, weeks, or days. Of course, we could also say 2 and a half years would just be 2.5. So let's do an example to demonstrate using the simple interest formula. A typical question would ask, for example, how much would have to be repaid on a $15,000 loan at 3% simple interest over 3 years. When we're approaching problems like this, it's a good idea, as you're reading the question, to make a note, even to highlight the different values that the question gives you, and to understand exactly what it is the question's asking you to find out. So this question's asking us to find how much would have to be repaid. So what's the full amount, the final amount, that must be repaid? Okay, so that's what the question's asking us to find, the amount. $15,000 is the principal. The interest rate, as a decimal, would be 0.03. And the term of the loan, N, would be 3 years. Now we don't have a formula that will tell us exactly what the amount is, but we do know that it will be whatever the interest is plus the principal. We don't know what the interest is yet, but if we use our simple interest formula, then we can calculate the interest, and then we can use that with the principal to find the final amount. So we're going to substitute into our simple interest formula the values that we've been given. 15,000 times 0.03 times 3 years. And we'll just use our calculator. $15,000 times 0.03 times 3 years. And we get $1,350. So for a $15,000 loan over 3 years, at 3% simple interest, the amount of interest that we'll have to pay is $1,350. But that's not what the question is asking us to find out. It's asking us to find out what's the full amount to be repaid. And we know that the amount will be whatever the interest is, which is $1,350, plus the amount that we borrowed in the first place, the $15,000. So the amount then, we can say, will be the interest plus the principal, the initial amount. So altogether, we'll end up with $16,350 to be repaid. And that's using the simple interest formula.